Hello and welcome to our online makeup version of our first Friday RSO Student Leadership Launch. Before you clicked into this video, there was a link where you could download a crossword puzzle, and I want you to do that because throughout our time together, we're going to reveal the answers so that you learn some information that's embedded in that crossword puzzle, as well as giving you something to do as you watch the video. So I want to start by giving you the answer to number 9 down on the crossword puzzle and say, welcome Mavericks. That's right, we're all Mavericks, and that is the answer to number 9. So my name is Michelle Harvey, and I am the Assistant Director for RSOs Leadership and Non-Traditional Student Resources here on campus. My office is in the Student Activities Suite downstairs of the CSU number 173. And one of the biggest joys of my job is that I advise our Maverick Involvement team here on campus. I hope you stop into our office and meet members of the team and get to know them throughout the year. So the agenda for today is a slightly adjusted agenda based on this online version, but I'm welcoming you. I'm going to talk about the leadership opportunities that the Maverick Involvement Team is offering to you and other students on campus. We're going to dive into Mav Central and do a quick overview of that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the RSO annual re-registration process that's live now, and then we will talk a little bit about some recruitment strategies. The involvement fair is already over, but there's always opportunities for y'all to table and recruit new members. And unfortunately, you did miss the keynote with Jeff Vennekamp going from here to there. He talked about motivation. He talked about a lot of great tips for all of us to engage, and I'm just not going to be able to recap what he did. So you'll have to talk to the folks who are in attendance for that. So first up, for our first RSO student leader training, the one we did on the 25th was really designed to be the kickoff for the year. It was required. We really wanted everyone there so they could engage in person and across tables. And, we didn't have necessarily all of your contact information because summer happened, but now we're catching you all up. And so I really encourage you, if you're watching this video and you missed the first Friday gathering on August 25th, I really encourage you to check out some of our upcoming ones. They aren't required, they are optional, but it's really a great opportunity for you to engage in some ongoing training and discussion as RSO leaders. We'll have time for discussion, we'll have time for announcements, we'll do some activities. It's just 50 minutes a month that's really going to impact your ability as a leader. And so we are going to recognize those who come to, 2 of the 3 in the fall, and I think 4 of the 6 over the course of the year. We will be giving out leadership badges for those who complete the training. So do check us out and get invited to that December one if you hit the next couple. We did have our first one about events and promotions. We've spent a lot of time in Mav Central thinking about what the event tips and tricks that are in Mav Central. We also went over the RSO handbook and the ways you can find access to different policies. And really, that agenda was built by the students who were in attendance. We brainstormed a list of questions they had about event planning, and then we talked through those as a group together. So it was really interactive and a great way to learn a few things. Upcoming, we're going to talk about, these are a couple of things we've decided to talk about, but we also asked you all in some surveys what you want to cover. So we might be adding or adjusting some of these topics. And we haven't set anything for the spring yet, so we have plenty of time to decide what that is. So number 3 across on your crossword puzzle is the Maverick Involvement Team. That is who sponsors these First Friday student leader trainings. And so you'll want to definitely check that out and learn more about that. So moving on, the other pieces that Maverick Involvement Team does, one of the big things we do is we support you all as RSO officers. But in addition to that, we want every student on campus to develop their identity as a leader. So we offer a variety of ways to help students do that. So first of all, number 12 across is communication. That's going to be the theme of our fall workshop series that we have coming up. And so next week is September 12th. That will be our first actual leadership workshop of the semester. We're going to be talking about stepping out of your comfort zone, overcoming social anxiety, how to do that when you go to a meeting for the first time, how to do that at tabling, some of those types of things. We also have topics like how to lose an audience in 10 ways and more. And while you all as RSO leaders are absolutely invited, I actually encourage you to send other students in your organizations, maybe those that don't have leadership positions yet. Who are your up and coming students? Send them to us and let us give them some leadership development so that they are ready to step into your shoes when you graduate and they can be the next leaders of your organization. One of the new things that we're going to do this year is our leadership fireside chats. We wanted just a little more informal way to have a conversation. Who doesn't love being by a fire? We're going to engage with conversation, have a couple experts in the room, but we really want to have a more conversational chat sort of atmosphere for this. And so October 10th will be our first one, and we're going to talk about the power of listening as leaders. We also are doing a few drop-in sessions. September 19th will be our upcoming one. If you haven't gotten into Mav Central and you don't get what you need from this video or the other ones that we have posted, please drop into our drop-in session. We'll be in CSU 204, and we will be there on the 19th to answer any questions you have. We also are doing some general membership meetings for our Maverick Involvement team. We want to grow our team so we can better support you. So again, if you have students who really like leadership, send them our way. Our next meeting for that will be October 3rd. And then I got to give you a couple answers. Number 4 down on your crossword puzzle is the leadership retreat. And number 5 across rather is the leadership awards. And so those are a couple of other things that the Maverick Involvement team does. If you want to learn more about the Maverick Involvement team and the events that are coming up, you can find all of that on Mav Central. So we're going to dive into there next. Let's think a little bit about that. First, before we can think about the newness of Mav Central, we have to take a look at last year. The past few years, we've had a pretty terrible software system. We just won't even say its name. Here is what our on-campus involvement story looked like according to the data we collected. It's not the right story. I know that this doesn't tell the whole picture, but this is what we have. And my job is to brag on all of you and all the awesome things that you're doing, and as well as help other students find your RSO and your RSO events. So we really want to build a robust, exciting campus involvement life, and Mav Central is going to help us do that. So last year, if you look at our numbers, 219 RSOs, that's awesome. But we only had 25 of those RSOs hosting events, according to our data. I know that's not true. We only had 354 events on campus. Again, I know that's not true. I know we had more. And we had about 650 students who attended at least one RSO event. That also is too small of a number. So we're going to do much better, and we are going to actually be able to tell the story that is our robust community that is here at Minnesota State University Mankato. The answer to your number 6 across is Stomper, and I know that that's our mascot, but really I'm your biggest cheerleader, and Mav Central is going to help me be that in a better way for you. What do you think our numbers are going to be like with Mav Central? Let me show you some tips and tricks about that. And as you're following along, number 11 on the crossword is Mav Central. It really was designed with you in mind, the student leaders who are running student organizations. There are a lot of bells and whistles to figure out. The goal of this overview is not to teach you everything, but really to get you excited about the possibilities and to help make sure that you know where to go if you need to find help to navigate it. So I'm going to jump out of this website real quick and go to Mav Central. So you can find it on our website, mnsu.edu/mavcentral. And you're going to come to a screen like this, and when you click the sign in button, I want everyone who is a member of our campus community to use this SSO login button. It's going to take you to our regular single sign-on where you put your star ID at GoMin State, or if you're faculty staff, use your star ID at Min State. Excuse me. And this is how you will log in. This section below is really for our guests and our community partners, and if you try to do this, it's just not going to work right. So I'm already signed in on another tab, so I'm going to pop over here, and this is the basic look of our site. It's really exciting. We have this menu bar across the top where you can navigate to a couple things. If you do this drop down, that is all about you as a person. Another place where it's all about you as a person is my activities. You can access your groups really quickly here. If you click into my groups, you'll be able to see the groups you're a part of, get your re-registration button if you need to get that going, see if somebody else has already submitted it for you, and just a really great place to see what you've got going on. If you want to look at all of the RSOs, you can look either here or here. If you want to look at all the events that are happening on campus, you can look here or here. There's more pieces on here, and I want to call your attention to we have academic resources, things you might find helpful, as well as campus resources, but then most importantly, RSO forms. Here's a number of forms that you as RSO leaders might need throughout the year, and we've put them really conveniently right here for you. Back on the home page, I just wanted to walk through a little bit about what this stuff is. You know, we're going to highlight different things here in this banner. Right now we're exploring RSOs and finding volunteer opportunities. We really want students to find you all. And then upcoming events, if you click here, you can view all of them. We'll go look at events in a little bit. This section is really designed to support you as the RSO leaders. We have a link to our handbook here. If we click over that, it's a website. It's been redesigned over the summer. We have built different sections on different topics of things that you all need to know, and then put links to either PDFs or other websites that is really just drawing all the different policies we have on campus into one spot so you can find the information you need when you need it. We also have a list of all of our upcoming training events that are designed for you, specifically the RSO student leaders. And then we are building our how-to videos for Mav Central. We have a start to those right here, and we will continue to build more as the year goes on. By the way, number 10 across is RSO Handbook. That is a resource of policies designed just for you. So let's take a look at a group. We're going to pop over to the Maverick Involvement Team. When you first go to the Maverick Involvement Team, you might see a view that looks like this. It might be the About page, where your mission and some goals and different things, your constitution lives here. You can see a few different pieces as well as some officers. If you hover, you can get their names. And then if you are listed as an officer in the organization, you'll have this Manage button as well as a Settings tab. You'll click into the Manage in order to access your dashboard. So you can see all the information you need for re-registering. These tiles shift around based on what you've used most recently. You also have the left side menu that doesn't shift around. It's built the way it's built. So I think a couple things that I really want to show you is this join flyer. This is something that builds you a QR code, and then you're able to print this out and use it to get people to scan the code and join your group right away, right from there. It's built in, it's built for you. You just need to use like a camera app. It says to use the Campus Groups app, which you can also do, but you really can just join using your phone camera and join your roster through a browser. That's a really cool tool that you'll be able to use for that type of thing. We can build surveys, you can store files, there's the tracks and checklists, which you can explore more. You can send emails. Those of you that have gotten the email newsletters from the Maverick Involvement Team, that was built using the emails in this system. But I want to show you a couple things about events. One of the things that is really awesome is that we can have people checking into events. I have just this office hour. I'm using this to keep track of students that come in and chat with us over the course of the semester. If you click check-in attendees right here and then choose track attendance with the computer, you can type the name of the person if you are right here, or you can check out a card reader from our office, have that plugged into your phone or computer, and then with just the tap of a map card, you can grab the attendance of people that have been at your event. And I think that's really cool because then you can check out the list of attendees. You can see we've got 8 of them here. I could check all 8 of them, and then I could download a list, I could email them, and it's a great way to maintain communication with members of your organizations and people that come to your events. So I definitely want you to check out the different registration options and things in events because it is really powerful. So that's a really fast overview. I just wanted to make sure that you saw some of the pieces, and this is really going to make a big difference in our lives on campus. And so the people in this room, the student org leaders, if you can be the super users, the role models, the trailblazers and users of this, we're going to have some really exciting stories to tell based on the Mav Central ease that at which we're able to get students to find our events. I'll show you just a quick look of what the event calendar looks like. It's a listing of events. You can absolutely sort it by an event type if you're just looking for volunteer opportunities. Or if you're more interested, I don't know, we want to do all sorts of things. We want to check out maybe diversity, equity, and inclusion events and see which ones might be popping up for that. You can pop up and see what students have deemed to be in that category. It's really powerful to search and hopefully will help students find you as RSOs. So that is our overview. So I want to go back to our slideshow and just show you a couple other things that we talked about at our event. So re-registration, it's really important that you do get your re-registration done. I showed you where you can find that under my groups in the group registration button. This is what's going to allow other students to find you, and then also gives you access to the different resources on campus that RSOs get to have. So you have plenty of time, so there's no rush, but do get it done and don't wait till the last minute. We do have a lot to review, and we need to get them through our student government process as well. So between now and 8 a.m. on Monday, October 2nd, that is when you have to register. This is what you're going to need as just a reminder. Some of it will be preloaded for you, but here's a quick look at what you need to gather if you don't have that already. And please do wait until you have actual names and phone numbers for your officers. If you submit it with the same person in every role, we're going to send it back to you for modification. We did talk a little bit about the involvement fair, which I'm going to skip over for this video because it has already passed, but I do want to give you a couple do's and don'ts for tabling and other recruitment tips because you can use those on your own in other places. By the way, number 1 down is the involvement fair, number 14 down and number 7 down are purple and gold respectively. So a few do's for tabling tips. We want you to be prepared, don't come last minute. Make sure you have a display put together, put some time and thought into it, make sure it's eye-catching, and think about what incentives or giveaways you could give out. People always like to, walk away from the table with something, even if it's just, a little piece of candy. Also be engaging. Nobody wants to come up and talk to somebody who looks unwelcoming, so do your best to create a welcoming environment for all who pass by your table. You do want to have a little short elevator speech. You got to grab their attention. What's going to draw them in? What are you going to say to them if you only have 10 seconds to grab their attention? If you've got 30 seconds, what are you going to say? If you get somebody to engage with you for a whole minute at your table, what are the key points that you want to talk about? Also remember, it's not just about you as the RSO, it's also about them. And people like to talk about themselves. And so be sure you ask the people who are coming up to your table about them. What are they interested in? That will help them feel like they're included in your RSO, which is one of the goals we have of RSOs, is we want everyone to feel a sense of belonging and to feel included, and that not that they're lost and alone on campus. As you're talking to people, make sure you're grabbing that contact information. You could, build that hidden event on Mav Central, and you could have people just tap their Mav cards, and then you're going to have their email addresses, and you can add them to your roster just right away. Or you can have a paper pencil sign-in sheet. That works too, but what are you doing to get that information? Now, some don'ts. Don't put too much stuff on your table. Nobody likes a table that's completely overflowing and stuff's falling on the floor and making a mess. Don't sit behind your table and just scroll on your phone. You can do that on your own time, and if you're out there tabling trying to engage, put the phone away and definitely engage with people. If someone is talking to you at your table, don't interrupt them. Be polite and listen to what they have to say. Listen to their stories. Don't be too pushy. People come up to your table and that's awesome, and you want to make sure that we make them feel welcome and that we're offering what we have, but don't be too salesy or too pushy. Don't leave your table neglected. Don't walk away and just have an empty table, because then there's nobody there to be engaging with. And then you've collected all that information. That's really great. Don't forget to follow up with them. Are you sending them an email? Are you reaching out via text message? Are you inviting them to your next events? What are you doing to follow up? And if you think about like the sales philosophy, it takes more than one follow-up to actually see results. So think about that as well. All right, so the next portion of our evening was our keynote speaker. I have just one more answer for your crossword, number 8 across. The best university is MNSU Mankato. And so I'll leave you with that. And if you want to talk about motivation tips and learn more about what Jeff had to say, I invite you to stop into our office in CSU 173 and chat with members of the Maverick Involvement Team or me, Michelle Harvey. Thanks so much. Now that you finished the video, I ask you finish the quiz.